Hello and welcome back. This is David from the Personal Finance Squad. We just finished with section 2.2, the inflows and outflows of money, using the basic accounting principles. If money goes out, the money has to be there to cover it, right? There has to be a credit for every debit. Now we're going to get into something a little deeper in our section 2.3 here, tracking bills with a credit card. Dangerous. Key thing, credit cards are very dangerous when managing a budget to pay expenses with. They're also very useful. The reason is that you can use a credit card pretty freely up to the balance that you have, the limit, the spending limit, they'll say, right? So if you build up debt, it can last for years. Negative effects, it can last for years because you're paying interest every month on top of that money. And if you don't pay more than the minimum payment, it takes years to pay off a card. And again, we will certainly get into that later in our exercises, but realistically speaking, most people have a credit card. Most households have a credit card debt. So in any event, we have to make sure that we track it properly and we show you how to do this. Now, one benefit to using a credit card is that they're very flexible about removing mistakes. I don't know if it's happened to you, but especially in today's world with people hacking all the time, I've seen on my card where I've seen rogue gasoline charges, for example, or duplicate gasoline charges, knowing that I was there but it was charged twice, as an example. Credit card companies, though, are very good about removing unauthorized purchases. Now, another reason people use cards is because they offer rewards. You might see things like cash back right here, or certainly airline miles are very, very common, right? We use ours for rental cars as well for the trips that we take, my wife and I. So there's very a good amount of reasons to use a credit card. If you're going to have one, you might as well benefit in some shape or form. Now, but when it comes to paying credit or bills with a credit card, discipline, extreme discipline. And the difference is with a debit card, you know the money is withdrawn immediately. But with a credit card, it's a monthly statement balance. And so you have to actually go look on that credit card and track it against expenses that you have in your budget. And then on top of that, you need to actually pay that card. So we're adding an additional step to our budget here. In a sense, a credit card is an expense, but it's a derivative of all the other expenses in your budget. So we're saying right here, right, we have to add an additional line to the budget for the credit card, which we see right here. So let's go through a couple scenarios. So let's say we have spending money right here. Jasper spends $100 on whatever it may be. He also spends $300 for his child care. And then his student loan payment, also $300. So what we can see right here in our little listing here is the actuals are true. So we know that there's going to be $603 remaining because it's a simple math of 100 removing from it. Now, in terms of student loan and child care, those have been satisfied for the month because those are fixed expenses, right? So this math is correct. Now the difference is that we have $700 in actual money, right? And that's fine. But the difference is that $700 is on the credit card. So all of a sudden things change a little bit. Now here's an example. We have $700 projecting, which means every time you have to have actuals added in these categories here, your project column, this amount here is going to continue to rise no matter what. And that's where first of all, that's your first part of your balancing. So in this case, we see 700 here, we see 700 here. Now, in this spot right here where we see actual, this is just showing, for example, that oftentimes credit cards, you may pay them more than once in a month. So in this scenario here, we're saying that $200 was paid at this point in the month, leaving an actual of $500 remaining. And so let's say that, in this case, nothing's been paid. Also, people tend to pay their money around the statement balance when it's due. So showing this right here, Jasper has $700, and at this point he's paid nothing, and his remaining is $700. So just keep in mind, like I just mentioned, if he goes out and spends money on anything, let's just say he gets it up to 1,000. That means, again, this remain has to go to 1,000. So he has to keep performing this exercise over and over again to maintain what he has. So again, it's an extra step. He has to go online into his account, look at all the charges, and then take those charges and put the numbers back into his budget to balance it out. So it is, again, this is why, again, this chapter is budget maintenance. It's a lot of maintenance to keep up on it. So that concludes this section of paying bills with the credit card. We will certainly go through some exercises as we go, as I keep saying, and we will certainly get into down the road about credit cards themselves and the interest they charge and how it can really affect the amount of money you can pay back over time if you don't manage it. So thanks for joining, and we will see you in section 2.4.